Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay? I'm back at it again, man, and it is time to talk. Let me tell you something. This New York Jets football team, all the hopes that we had, all the things that we were hoping were going to happen, ain't happening, okay? Jets have been eliminated from the playoffs. We lost to the Seahawks 23-6. And boy, was it an experience, okay? Salute to all the Savages, J. Cole, all my guys in the chat. We're going to talk about this. So listen, call in 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Let me go ahead and get into the show. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook. Search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave us some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well. All right? Going over to Twitter. Type in at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. We can go back and forth and talk about this football team. Shows also on iTunes as well. Go on over to iTunes. Type in The Long Beach Joe Show. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and leave me a 5-star rating. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you folks think about what I'm doing here. That's what it's all about. I love engaging with people, going back and forth, and I want to thank everyone that does that. For those of you that do not know as well, that just listen to the podcast and, like my takes and want to hear me, you can also see your boy, all right? Listen, there's a lot of people that be like, listen, Joe, you look good, man. I like your takes. I like how you sound. Phenomenal. But I didn't know you were so handsome. And I said, whoa, listen, thank you for your compliment. I'm not arrogant, all right? I'm just, working with what I got here. Ladies coming up to me saying, Joe, you're a beautiful man. And I say, thank you. Thank you for watching the show. So if you want to come check your boy out, you want to hear the takes, you want to get in the chat with the Savages as well, all right? You want to know why I call my Savages the Savages? Because they're savage, okay? I'm talking straight savage, and it does not matter what happens. They will get after you, all right? I'm talking savage. Savage. They don't care who you are. They'll come after you for all of your takes. They go back and forth, so you get in there. Everybody's respectful. But, they definitely come at you about takes, and they share their takes as well. Salutes to all the Savages, NY Jets FL, Mr. Magics, The Jet Show, J. Cole, all my guys in there. You know what I'm saying? Callers, we'll get to y'all in just a second. The lines are hot. Again, everybody can call in, 515-602-9639. All right? Salutes to everybody. Also, Happy New Year's to everybody as well, in case I don't say that enough. Now, before I start the show, I also want to send my thoughts and my prayers out to the family, the friends of Damar Hamlin, and to him as well. As we all know, tragic injury during a football game last night. I know the last news was coming out that he was recovering and that, he was still in a critical situation. That's the last news that we actually got. I'm wishing him nothing but a speedy recovery, and I'm hoping that guy comes back and is able to just be 100% and go on, and live his life the way he should. It sucked to see it happen, but again, my thoughts and my prayers to him and his family. So as we continue on, the Jets are in some trouble. All right. Jets were in some trouble. Oh boy. We were right there. Okay. We were going into this game and we thought that we had what it took. Okay. The Jets had 10 days to prepare for the Seahawks, all right? And this is after us losing to the Jags, all right? We're coming off that game. We're looking at the situation, and we're saying our playoff hopes lie in the balance, all right? We control our own destiny. We can do what we need to do. All we have to do is get these 2 solid wins. 2 wins. That's all we need. 2 wins, and then we can continue to make our way. We needed a little bit of help now. We did need, New England to lose, but we had what it took, all right? The gauntlet was laid out in front of us. Come out against Seattle, and let me tell you something. I talked about this. We had to start fast. We had to come out there and take the hearts out of this football team. The New York Jets came out against Seattle on Sunday and looked flat. They looked terrible. They looked unprepared. They were not ready for anything that happened out there. Nothing, all right? And this is off of 10 days prep. They looked completely unprepared. The first play that the Seattle Seahawks ran, the line of scrimmage, the first play, okay, 60-yard run by Walker. 60 yards. And from then on, you just saw that the Jets weren't ready. They just weren't. We couldn't stop Walker at all on the day. At all. 23 carries, 133 yards on the ground. He also had a catch for 9 yards. This guy was all over the place. Missing tackles left and right as well with him. It was insane. We just could not stop this guy. Couldn't stop him at all. It's mind-boggling. The defense was struggling early to get things done. Geno Smith was out there wheeling and dealing. He was 18 of 29, 183 yards, throwing the football, 2 touchdowns. It's mind-blowing. Noah Fant as well, we struggled with him. 2 catches, 40 yards. He had a 29-yard pitch and catch as well. DJ Dallas scorched us too. 7 carries, 43 yards on the ground. 3 catches, 55 yards. He also had a 41-yard pitch and catch too. Parkinson carved us up as well. 5 catches, 36 yards. He also had a touchdown. We couldn't stop him. We could not stop him. Now, the defense did give up a TD or some field goals as well. But, man, it was mind-boggling. The way they targeted our safeties and linebackers just got carved up. Now, I will say Reed and Sauce did their jobs pretty effectively. Metcalf only had 1 catch for 3 yards. Lockett only had 2 catches for 15 yards. If you would have told me that we held those guys to those numbers, I would have told you, oh, yeah, we 1 win away from the playoffs, baby. I would have told you that. And I would have been wrong. Now, the Jets offense, and again, we'll get to the callers, 515-602-9639. We'll get to them in just a second. Salutes to everybody. Lines are hot, and we'll get to everybody. The Jets offense struggled mightily on the day. Mike White, 23 of 46, 240 yards, 2 interceptions. He had one of the interceptions on his first drive. You could see that those ribs were hurting. He took shots in this game. We're also going to be talking about, listen, I love Robert Saleh, but his game management in this game, especially his management of Mike White, questionable. For the half, he leaves Mike White out there for Hail Mary. He gets blasted. I mean, come on. Some of the decisions that was made in this game coaching-wise, particularly the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, the questions about him are swirling, and they should be. This New York Jets offense has had issues all season, pretty much, all season in the play-calling department, particularly in the red zone. And you saw today, the New York Jets couldn't get anything done on the ground as well. We've been talking about that, lack of a running game. It's a bad defense. It's a 29th ranked defense in the league. The same way that we struggled against the Jaguars, who don't have a great defense. The same way we struggled against the Lions, who don't have a good defense. We struggled against the Seahawks as well. The offensive line was horrid. Pass blocking was terrible. Fant, Brown, McGovern. My goodness. My goodness. This offensive line needs to be reworked in the offseason. This was terrible. Oh. It was awful. It was awful. The running game, again, it stunk. 75 yards total on the day. And we're supposed to be a running football team. We're supposed to be a power team. We didn't get it done. Keep in mind, the Seattle Seahawks, no Ryan Neal. That's one of their starting safeties. Jordan Brooks as well, one of their key linebackers, went down during the game. I felt like the Jets' offense didn't do enough to target any of those issues. They didn't do enough to try to expose the deficiencies there at all. They didn't attack that offensively, not at all. There seems to be a lack of urgency here offensively with the New York Jets. And everything in that game, when you watch the Jets in that football game, everything just seemed out of sync. The offense looked out of sync in particular. This was a total team loss. And I know we're going to be talking about Mike White tonight as well. He didn't play his best. I understand he's got the fractured ribs. I get it. But he did go out there and play, right? So I will allow critique of him. I will hear you out. As everybody knows, everybody's got their own takes. But there was some bad decision-making as well for him at the quarterback position. I understand the ribs played a factor. He couldn't get a lot on the ball on some points on some throws. But there were some decisions that he made in those games, throwing in the double coverage, stuff like that, where he's just got to make better decisions. Then you look at the special teams as well. Boy, oh boy, Braxton Berrios. My goodness, man, how many punts are you going to let go over your head so we can get it down on the ground? Come on. God, Braxton Berrios, what are you doing? And let me give another one for Braden Mann. This is for Braden Mann. I got Braden Mann. What are you doing? Shaking punts again? Just a frustrating day overall. The Jets took a tough loss. Playoff hopes are dashed. I'm disappointed, but I will say this. I think the season was disappointing because we didn't make the playoffs. But I don't believe that the season's a failure because of what we saw from this football team. I know everyone has different opinions on that, but I tell you what, when you look at the process of the New York Jets, when we started this rebuild, we knew that we were in a rebuild. Oh, believe it. We all know that. And I don't think that playoffs for most people didn't believe that the Jets were even be in the conversation to make the playoffs. So for us to be 6-3 at one point in the season, being able to continue to push, seeing all of the young talent flourish the way that we saw here, seeing guys step up, and we did deal with a lot of injuries this season as well along the offensive line, Zach Wilson being up and down as well at quarterback. The season, in my opinion, is not a failure. It is disappointing because we didn't make the playoffs, and it was right there. But the growth that we saw and the immediate impact of a lot of these players, that's huge as well. Because, again, we're still in the rebuild. Now, we're going to continue forward, and we're going to talk about the offseason when that comes. We still got a game coming up as well against those Fins. I can't stand those guys. It's a tough loss, but we were right there. All right? So we're going to get to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Again, when you call in, please be patient. I'll get to everybody. And please make sure you have a good phone. Please don't call me with a Braxton Berrios phone. Oh, my God. Oh, Braxton Berrios just annoys me. We're going to get to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Please give the stream a thumbs up, all right, no matter where you're watching me from. Also, share the stream as well with your friends and your family. We also love connecting with people that way. If you like to give to the platform, the Super Chat's there. If you don't want to get the Super Chat, Cash App is up at the bottom of the screen. Anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated. So we're going to get to these calls. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. First call I'm going to, I think this is my guy, Val, man.
Joe.
I think this is Val. Val, salute. First off, hold on, Val. For those of you that don't know, Val? That boy's a savage, man. I ain't gonna lie, Val. Salute to you, my friend. Listen, Jets lose to the Seahawks. I hear the disappointment in your voice. Give me your thoughts about this loss, man. Is Saleh to blame for this loss completely? Or is this a team loss to you?
I feel like this is definitely a coaching loss. and it's like 80% coaching loss and 20% team loss as well too. Because the thing is, the coach is supposed to have the team ready before even the game, and they looked lifeless. They looked like they wasn't even trying to even play to get into the playoffs. Because where was the urgency? I didn't see no urgency. It felt like the game was over. Like everybody was just ready to pack it up and go home and everything like that. It was just like, it was not even a playoff type of team. It didn't even look like we deserved to be in the playoffs, especially coming after a 5-game losing streak. We just came off of a back-to-back, losing to the Jaguars, losing to the Lions, and we held them to 20 points. I'm like, we can't even put up 20 points. We haven't put up 20 points since the Vikings game. It was terrible, man. And this got to go on coaching. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to go at the offensive coordinator, but we might have to address offensive coordinator or something, because it's like this team, the plays, like, Joe, how many times did you see on second down? What was we going to do on second down? I'm not even going to say nothing. Every time on second down, what we do, Joe?
You already know what time it is.
The ball.
You're going to run? Yeah.
We run the ball. It was so predictable. It's either when you pass the ball or we run the ball on second down every time. I was like, it's so predictable. So now you're starting to get like Adam Gase with the screens. So it was just like, it was getting bad. It was really getting bad. And it just felt like we threw in the white flag in the third and fourth quarter, and we were just putting the ball left and right. Mike White, I was saying, man, Mike White, I understand he had the rib injury and stuff like that, but it wasn't your brain, you know? Like, you're not supposed to throw it into double coverage, man. Like, it was terrible, man. And another person, Corey Davis, you're getting a lot of money, and you're not even showing up, man. It was just, he's like non-existent out there, too. So it's just like, man, we have a lot of stuff to address. But go ahead, Joe.
No, listen, and Val, listen, I hear you, and I'm right there with you. I know that there's a lot of people calling for Saleh's head at this point as well. A lot of people talking about Sean Payton and getting rid of Robert Saleh. I'm not on that train.
I'm not on that
I will
train.
say that right now.
I'm not on that train.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not on that
He said yet. He said yet. I'm not on that train. I will say that. I heard you. Oh, I can hear you very well. Okay, Val, I can hear you. Listen, you said I'm not on that train yet. I'm not on that train of firing Robert Saleh, but I will say that if there's anyone that does need to be fired, it should be LaFleur. He's going to be the guy. If there's anyone fired, it should be him. Now, I want to be clear about this, though, and I know that people are calling for LaFleur's head. Now, Saleh did come out in a press conference as well and talk about, there was a guy, a media guy that asked him, hey, what is your level of confidence in Mike LaFleur? And he said, I feel very confident in him. He talked about how if Kyle Shanahan, when he was at the Niners, had fired him during a bad year when things weren't going well, they could have easily have made him the scapegoat. They could have easily said, hey, we didn't win enough games. You're out the door. You're the guy. That's the reason, right? And moved on from him. But he didn't.
Right.
Shanahan sat him down. They went over things and brought him back. And look, history, here he is now. He's the New York Jets head coach. He's done great things in this league. Now, I think he said all that to say, basically, that he's lobbying for LaFleur, and I don't think that he's going to fire him. Now, that to me means that LaFleur is going to be here. Now, and I hear what you're saying about, his play calling being very up and down. I think our struggles in the red zone have been very up and down. But what are your thoughts about that? I mean, the fact that, again, he's extremely confident in LaFleur, and LaFleur is going out there. Could you make an argument that the injuries, the issues at quarterback, are actually the real problems versus Mike LaFleur's play calling?
Man, I want to say this, man. I feel like his play calling had really suffered soon as AVT and Breece Hall went down. Soon as that happened, everything went out the window. And I feel like everything just got stalemated. I felt like, everybody figured this out. I feel like everybody figured out the offense. When we went against the Patriots that first time, that's when everybody figured this out. Load up the box and turn our quarterbacks into quarterbacks and let them pass the ball. That's exactly what happened, and we lost 5 straight in a row because they watched that Patriots game, the Lions game, and the Jaguars game. And even the Seahawks, to a certain extent, they did the same thing, load up the box, stop the run, and turn our quarterbacks into a throwing quarterback. And that's where our downfall was. And I feel like, I would say, I wouldn't say fire him. I would say give him one more shot. Give him one more shot. And because, to be honest, like, he does have a couple of plays that I do like and stuff. The Wildcat, which he does, when stuff works, he goes away from it. That's the only problem with LaFleur that I have a problem with as well, too. When stuff works, he goes away from it. I feel like if we get a quarterback in here, a veteran quarterback, I know we're not going to talk about that right now, but if we could get a veteran quarterback in here and actually get a real quarterback, I feel like we could judge him off of that. And we get everybody back. Let's get all the offensive line. If stuff is flowing and everything is going up and stuff, I say let's do that. Because, mind you, we did pass expectations. I did say we was going to win 6 or 7 games this year. I wanted to see development. We didn't see no development. Then that's when we could start firing people. But I'm going to give LaFleur one more shot, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great that you talked about, and that's a great take, and it's great that you talked about, the quarterback situation. Now, you saw Mike White yesterday, okay? Or you saw Mike White against the Seahawks. In your opinion, is that it for him? Is he a guy that you don't want to see compete here next year or be the Jets starting quarterback next year, or even compete? Or are you already looking to move on from him at this point? Is it out of question that he's the guy that, could possibly lead the New York Jets next year for you at quarterback? Or are you looking for Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo? I know there's a host of other names out there. Is this the final time that you think that Mike White, will be under the helm at the Jets starting at quarterback there?
Now check this out. Mike White had kind of sealed the deal of him being the starting quarterback of next year. He just showed that. He basically showed what he showed last year when he played against the Buffalo Bills. That was basically the Mike White that we seen before. So I say, man, he's a solid backup. Like I was never on the train of him being a franchise quarterback and everything. I feel like people just rally around him, and he's a really good guy and a good solid backup. That's how I feel. Like if we could bring him back as a solid backup, I would definitely get him back. But for him to be the starting quarterback, I want us to get a mobile quarterback that could be a threat from his legs and also his arm as well, too. That's what I think this team needs, because just in case our offensive line is not good, you've seen what happened with Chris Striedler. He was actually moving the ball. We kind of stopped with the offensive line problems and stuff because you're telling the linebackers to focus on the quarterback and stop focusing on the wide receivers. So they have to focus on the quarterback, and so he could, either throw it away or throw it to throw on the run and stuff like that. But I say, man,
okay. Listen, and Val, I hear you. I hear you. I understand the mobile stuff, but where's that coming from? Are you saying you want the New York Jets to draft a quarterback, or where's that mobile guy coming from? Because there's a guy on the roster that's mobile. His name is Zach Wilson. He's pretty mobile, but I don't think anyone wants him throwing the football at this point, though, right?
Oh, you talking about the guy that runs backwards?
Yeah, he's running. He's running, though, right? He is running backwards, though. He's running backwards, but that mobile guy is just not gonna, kind of come out of nowhere. So I look at it like this, and I'll give you the last one because I want to ask you another question. I'll give you a final question, but I look at it like this. Mike White, I think, has shown us that, he had a bad game against Seattle, but we had a bunch of great other games with him as well. When the offense was in disarray, particularly at the quarterback position, and you go back and you look at Zach Wilson, I love Zach Wilson, but when he was at the helm, you could directly look at a lot of our losses and point the finger directly at him and say, listen, this is the guy. He lost the locker room as well at one point. Honestly, you saw it in the Jaguars game when he was out there, the team just played like they knew that he wasn't the guy, right?
Oh,
Mike White, when he stepped in, you saw everything reinvigorated. Even in the loss, you had guys still say, look, he went out there and competed. He's a dog. He has the pulse of that locker room. He's the best, guy that we've seen in the offense this season. So I'd have no issues with them coming back with him next season, giving him a deal, extending and moving forward with him. I have no problem with that. But I will say this. There's going to be veteran guys out there as well, okay? And for those of you that aren't believers in Mike White, and I'm saying it right now, would have no issues with the Jets having a quarterback competition. I wouldn't have any issue with it.
I would love that.
If you bring in a guy like Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, they compete. Zach Wilson, I think, they're going to keep working with him. I know people want him off the team. He should be gone and all this stuff. I don't know about that. I think they'll keep working with him. But he's going to be somewhere in the scrum. He'll probably end up being the second, maybe third string quarterback. But I'd have no issue with them bringing in another quarterback to maybe compete with Mike White for the starting job, if that's what they deem. So what are your thoughts about that, Val? I'll give you the final word.
Okay, I absolutely agree with that. I feel like we definitely need a quarterback competition. I would bring back Mike White as a somebody to have a competition for that starting position. Carr, we cannot ignore the warning signs with Carr because he does not play good in cold weather. He is 0-6, as I believe. But, yeah, I mean, listen, we can't ignore the warning signs. But I will say I think he would be – okay, go ahead.
No, look, cold weather, it doesn't get super cold up there in Oakland or Vegas. But listen, Carr, if you look at him, and again, I'm on the West Coast, so I watch these guys. Carr's a solid quarterback. I'm not saying that he's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he's Drew Brees. I'm saying he's a competent guy that would lift our offense just enough to where we would be successful offensively. That's the honest to God truth. That's what it would be. He would give us stability at the quarterback position.
Concerned about the cold weather and stuff, his record?
No, I'm more concerned about us figuring out this quarterback position so we don't keep looking this way. I think he'll be fine.
True.
I think you'll be
That's
fine.
True.
I think you'll be fine. So before I let you go, Val, because the lines is hot, man, give me your score prediction, man. We got this final game coming up against Miami. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up, man?
Okay. So I feel like man, I think I think we might win. It might be 17-14 Jets winning the game. I'm not too confident, man, because we don't even score touchdowns. Score again?
But what was it?
17-14 Jets.
Okay, 17-14. Listen, Val, I got to slide off, man. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one.
Yes, sir. Everybody hitting subscribe to Joe's page, man. Peace.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. You have a good one. Listen, we're going to keep going to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers again. Please be patient. We will get to everybody, all right? And also, for my new callers, when you call in, don't curse on my show. I'll get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast, all right? Faster than Braxton Berrios can let a punt fly over his head. That's right. Are you going to field the punt, Braxton? Are you going to keep letting us start from the 1 yard line? Is that what you're going to do? Are you putting us in a good position when you do that? My goodness. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Next, I'm coming to Devon. 973-973, Devon. I'm coming directly to you. Salutes to you, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, we're talking Jets losing to Seattle. Playoff hopes and dreams are down the drain. Give me your thoughts on this loss, man. How much of this is on Saleh? The team came out flat, looking unprepared. What are your thoughts? 973? 973. Going once. Going twice. 973. All right, we'll come back to you. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Brick City. We're going to Brick City, man. We're going to Brick City. Brick City salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that don't know, let me let him know, though, Brick City, because, some people don't. He's a savage. You better know. Brick City's a savage, man. Salutes to you, Brick. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, Brick, man, give me your thoughts on this loss that the Jets suffered to the Seattle Seahawks, man. Who do you put this on? We come out flat. We don't look good. What are your takes on it, man?
I blame everybody from the head coach and coaching to the players. We had 10 days, Joe. We had 10 days. What these guys overate on fifth kick or something on the holidays? What's going on? You know, playoffs is still on the line. It's win or go home. And I ain't seen no intensity, no urgency. You know, I love Rob Saleh, but when we're doing good, you all beating your chest, hyping up. But I want to see you get in guys' faces. That's what real head coaches do. Feel me, Joe? When the things on, Belichick does that. Dayball and for the Giants has done that. Jim Harbaugh, you name a few. I want him to get in guys' faces, rile the guys up when we're down, not just rile guys up when we're up like by 2 touchdowns and we're having a good day, because that's part of a CEO coach. Everybody wants a CEO coach. Well, play your part. Play your role, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And, again, a lot of people were talking about his game management as well. What are your thoughts about that? I felt like at some point you're watching Mike White go out there. He's struggling with the rib injury. He took a shot before the half. That was crazy. Do you think he should have pulled him and put in Flacco?
I mean, yeah, to avoid any significant injury. Heck, I would have dressed Zach or something, you know, like, hey, Zach, man, heck, we already down and out. Just ball out, have fun, don't think too much, something. I mean, would Joe Flacco have gave us a start? No, probably not. But it would have been something, Streveler package or something. I just seen no urgency with this coaching staff this year. I think the coaching staff regressed, and it shows on the field.
What are your thoughts?
I think it
about
definitely
Michael
shows on the field.
No, it does.
You know,
we struggled again. But listen, we struggled, and I want to get your thoughts on Mike LaFleur. There's a lot of people calling for his head as well, wanting to see him get fired. Are you in agreement with that? Are you a guy that wants to see the Jets move on from him, especially amidst all of our offensive struggles?
I'm in between. You know, hindsight is 20/20, right? What's the positives? You got the positives to me outweighs the negatives. And what do I mean by that? Number one, the system works. His system do work. Heck, me and you can throw 300 yards in that system for the Jets. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely not him on that. But what his negatives is, I think he's a little arrogant for his own good. He gets in his way. Like he probably in his own mind thinks he's this genius and, hey, I'm going to put these guys in certain positions, it's going to work. It doesn't work like that. Going to shotgun and third and short, no, we gotta be physical. We got to pound that rock. You stop running up the middle. Let's do some stretch plays. I want to see some more RPO or bubble screens, something. Get creative. He got creative last year down the stretch, right? And I feel like he regressed as well this year. I feel like there's no veteran guy, because he was a rookie too, last year, So and losing, like I said on the Jake Asman show the other day, losing Greg Knapp was a definitely blow for this team, and we never recover from that. It definitely shows this season that we need a guy, maybe hire Frank Wright, or whatever the case may be, a veteran that's seen it all, has done it all, that probably can pull Mike LaFleur to the side and say, hey, man, this is not working. We got to do something else. And he comes from that Andy Reid tree.
Here's I hear exactly what you're saying, Brick City, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? I hear what you're saying, but with everything on the line, playoffs on the line, you're going to Seattle, you know what's going on here, you got 10 days to prepare. How do you not have that creativity ready to go? Why do we have to hire somebody? He's supposed to be the guy, the OC, right? Why do we have to hire some guy for you to throw in there some creativity? Why is it that, and Val talked about it as well, why is your run game so predictable? Why do we know? Why do you struggle in the red zone so much? Why do you get so cute? Why don't you just do obvious things that would work? And there was one point where we were getting down to the one and we would do crazy stuff instead of just running quarterback sneaks and getting into the end zone. We talked about that ad nauseum on this show. Every single game this year, right, our defense has put us in a position to win. I cannot count how many games that we've literally been down. We were in the games until the fourth quarter because our defense put us in those positions, and the offense could not produce at all. Couldn't do anything. You look at those New England games, we were in it to win it until the very end, right? You look at even the Jags game, The defense wasn't playing its best, and we were still in that game. We could have won that game if the play calling was better and the quarterback play was better, right? We talk about this constantly.
Exactly.
So at what point are you going to look around and go, okay, if this guy can't get it done here and we're moving forward, shouldn't we move forward without him? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you 100%. I mean, Robert Saleh, that's his best friend or whatever. He should pull him to the side and say, hey, man, get your crap together. This isn't working. And if you can't fix it, my guy, I'm going to have to let you go. Because if I can't let you go and you ruin it, because that's what, I mean, I seen the conference the other day. Robert Saleh pretty much is riding with his friend. Okay, Robert Saleh, you're going to die on the hill with your best friend. Okay, some changes got to happen. Mike LaFleur got to evaluate himself and say, all right, I'm not getting it done. I'm overwhelmed, whatever. I'm not putting these guys in the best position. But I'm also looking at it from the other side, too. Mike LaFleur, the offensive line has collapsed. Things hasn't been the same since AVT and Breece Hall got hurt. Dwayne Brown, I think he didn't get that surgery, so he's been playing hurt all year. He's up there in age. Noah Fant, he's injury prone. He's up there in age. I mean, we just seen Dr. Guard coming in. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Guard coming in and playing in the Seattle game. That's pretty much a late situation. He came in super late in the year. So our offensive line hasn't been producing either. Just the whole offense as a whole. You can see guys slowly checking out on the field. Corey Davis, goodbye. Gotta go, man. Gotta go. He's not reliable. You talk about Braxton Berrios, my brother. Corey Davis, he is not reliable. 6'3", supposed to be this possession guy, supposed to be this young guy coming from Tennessee. He's not going to burn you, but he can get you between the numbers and get some yaks, whatever like that. You're dropping easy catches. I mean, how many times Mike White throw to this guy? Zach Wilson hit this guy in the middle, and you're dropping it on these third and longs and easy stuff. So there's got to be a lot of shuffling going on this year, bro, Joe. There's got to be a lot of shuffling going on. And can we get to the quarterback?
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go next. Again, we'll talk about the roster changes, free agency, all that stuff going on. But you're right, Corey Davis has not produced the way we all believe he should. And there were some injuries and stuff like that, but we're seeing that for the money that we're paying him. I completely understand why people are talking about moving on, but I want to talk to you about the quarterback position. You wanted to go there. Mike White didn't play his best in that game. Do you think it's over for him? Do you think this closes the door on him
as a starter?
Being a Jet starter next season?
Of course, he's going to be a backup. And if he can't, as a starter, no. Backup, he can be a guy that can win. Well, he's not he's for one the injuries, right? The injuries. He's injury prone.
Hold on, but what is he injury prone though, Brick City? Because look, if anybody would have taken the shots that he took against Buffalo, they'd be injured. If you took him, you'd be hurt. If I took him, I'd be hurt. If Patrick Mahomes, anybody gets hit the way he was getting hit, all right, he almost got sawed in half by Matt Milano. I mean, that shot, anybody's seen that picture, he's just getting destroyed. You would get hurt, okay? So I understand the whole injury-prone thing, people trying to say that, but you can't really put that on him when he's taking the hits that he should take. Other than him getting injured, which has derailed his time, when you look at it, when he got his chance and his opportunity this season, did he not uplift the Jets' offense that was floundering? He did.
Yeah, he put a spark on the offense, but I'm not talking about this season alone with Mike White. I'm including last year as well. It's the same thing. He'll come in, win you a game or two, then he'll get hurt. Look at the Indianapolis game. He was taking shots that game as well. We was cooking Indianapolis at first, and we had a worse roster last year.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question, though, Brick City?
Sure.
Could you argue that Mike White has looked the best in this offense out of all the quarterbacks we've had?
I'm sorry, my brother interrupted me. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Mike White, can you say that Mike White has looked the best in this offense than any other quarterback we've had?
Yes. Yes,
okay,
100%.
So if he uplifts the offense, and he clearly has a command of the offense, right? Our offense looks better with him than anyone else. Not only just that, like that's the tangible, that's the stuff you can see out there. He's out there popping and producing within the offense. The guys in the locker room love him. They love him. You see it. They see that he goes out.
But the
there.
NFL's a business, Joe. It's a business.
Why can't this guy be the starter here? I still have not heard, and I want to go back and forth with you, Brick City. I have not heard a legitimate argument about why Mike White cannot be the starter next season for the New York Jets at quarterback. Why?
Okay, so let's take the injuries out the way, right? Look at his overall body of work. As a star, he started, 8 games? 8 games for us, give or take? And he is literally 2-6. And the NFL is what have you done for me lately business. Yes, he can spark the offense. Yes, he can hit guys open, but he is not that type of quarterback to where if a guy is open deep, let's say Garrett Wilson open deep, he can't make the throw down bomb. Yes, he make the decisions and everything like that, but as soon as the guy get hit or he injures a knee, it's like Chad Pennington all over again. It's going to set our franchise back a few more years. Let's bring in a guy like Derek Carr, who is a top 15 quarterback. Forget Jimmy Garoppolo, because Mike White is our Jimmy Garoppolo. We can't win a Super Bowl or go to the play. I don't believe that 100%. Like I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna put my fandom on the line for this, Joe. Like can Mike White win us a couple of games in a pinch if we need it? Sure, 100%. Command of the offense, knowledge of the offense, hit guys on the underneath, the check downs, the easy stuff. But when it comes to pressure, let's say a defense is like Buffalo, right? You know, he looked good in those. He looked good until he got hurt. But everybody knows when you play in Mike White, man coverage or stack the box brings the pressure to this guy. He cannot deliver. Look at the Vikings game this year. The Vikings defense is not all that, and we can't even get in the red zone. Part of that was Mike White. Part of that was Baxter Berrios not catching. If we would have caught that, we would have won that game. It's different factors. It plays a lot of factors.
Yeah, but again, we were in that game. If Braxton Berrios catches that football, guess what? That's a W for us. And by the way, people saying that Mike White can't throw the football, if you go back and look, he actually connected with Garrett Wilson. You talked about Garrett Wilson. He connected with him for a 54-yard bomb this year for a touchdown. So I think people – look, I get it, and I love going back and forth, but I think Mike White can make all the throws. You don't have to have the biggest arm to be in this league. You don't. There's a lot of guys that don't have big arms, and they're very successful, and he is. So my final question for you, Brick City, I want to give you the last word on
he's not a top 15 quarterback, Joe. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, listen, I hear you. I don't know if we've seen enough of him to say that he can't be a very solid quarterback. But I do think
I think we did see it enough, Joe. I'm sorry.
Of potential.
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. I'm bad. I really apologize for that. But I don't Mike White is could be a great career backup for us. You know, look at Nick Foles, right? So let's say, for example, we did a Derek Carr. We go to the because I believe when we get Derek Carr, we can go to the Super Bowl. We can go to the Super Bowl with Derek Carr. I'm truly 100% believe that because I'm sick and tired of these people talking about the New York market, the New York market. I live in the New York market. It is not that serious. You know, forget if you can just ignore the New York Post and some of our hating behind beat writers, we'll be fine. And I think, you know, it is what it is. You just put them on the back burner, we fine. Derek Carr is proven to be a leader of men. You know, he never really had true talent in Oakland / Las Vegas. Imagine him right now. We would have won at least 12 games with Derek Carr right now. And he never had a defense either. Yes, he had a running game with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he might have, you know, he had Devontae Adams this year. But and he understands the West Coast offense. Imagine Derek Carr with Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. Corey Davis is gone. Let's say we bring in I like that receiver from Green Bay. What's his name? Lazard. Let's say we can bring in Lazard. Alan Lazard? Yeah, Lazard. I like him. Alan Lazard, I like him. He's bigger than Corey Davis, a little faster, and he got better hands he can catch. Yeah, he might be he's not as injury prone as Corey Davis, but he had a little knick-knack injuries, whatever. But I believe we can win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr. So let's say it's a Carson Wentz situation. We're making a playoff run. You know, he's down and he gets hurt, whatever, for a game or two. Or, heck, he gets hurt in the Super Bowl. Let's say we go to the Super Bowl, he gets hurt. I believe Mike White can win us the game. He can be that Nick Foles for us. But for as 18 weeks starter, no.
Okay. All right.
We'll be like 500. We'll be 500 with Mike White. Okay.
Listen, and I am not against Carr. I want to be very clear. All right, but I just think people are shutting the door on Mike White because of this rough, game against the Seahawks. But I got callers. All right, Brick City. Again, I want to thank you for calling in. Before you slide off, go ahead and give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up?
All right. I mean, you know me, man. I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. 34-27 Jets. But if we lose this game, Woody Johnson going to fire everybody. That's potentially going to happen.
Well, we'll see. I'm hoping Woody does not meddle with this team. All right, thank you again for calling in, Brick City. You have yourself a good one.
You too, brother. Happy New Year. You too, brother.
Happy New Year to you as well. Have a good one. Listen, Happy New Year to everybody as well, in case I didn't say that enough. All right, look, that's one thing, again, I want to talk about tonight, too. Woody Johnson. Do you guys think he'll start meddling in the business as far as the front office? Do you think that he'll start to put pressure on Saleh to fire Mike LaFleur? We've seen them do this in the past. We've seen them meddle in the coaching stuff. I want to get your thoughts on that tonight. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're talking about it all right? We're going to take these calls. Just please be patient and make sure your phone's good, all right? Next, I'm going to Dwayne. Dwayne, I'm coming directly to you. All other callers, please, again, be patient. We'll get to everybody. Dwayne,
what's going on?
You, my friend? What's going on? Listen, Dwayne, tough loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Playoffs out of reach. We're done there. Give me your thoughts, man. What is your take on this situation? The Jets coming out flat, not looking good. Are you questioning the Jets coaching at this point?
I think Jets fans are absolutely ridiculous, man.
Okay, talk about it.
Let's go down what came out of this year, right? You've been watching the Jets for a little while, right, Joe?
Yeah, yes, I have. Well, a lot of while.
For a little while.
Some years, a long time. A long time.
When's the last time we had 4 Pro Bowlers?
Ooh, I can't.
It's been a while,
remember.
Right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay. When the last time we had a 1,000-yard receiver?
Ooh, that was a long time ago. Maybe
it's been a little while, right?
Marshall or Eric? Yeah, I think Brandon Marshall or Eric Decker, maybe.
Brandon Marshall,
but it was a while. Okay, there you go.
That was 7 years ago.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But we had a running back. We had a running back that was basically on his way to at least 1,000-yard rushing year, right? Plus his all-around game, right? Till he got injured. Yeah. We got an offensive coordinator. Now, these are all facts. We got an offensive coordinator that made 3 backups look like starters, right? You had Jefferson. You had I forget his name, who started for us this beginning of the season, and then you have Mike White. So basically, you got Flacco. So basically, what you got is an offensive coordinator who got stuck with what's for now a bust of a quarterback who started a majority of the games he coached, right?
Okay.
So you accomplished a really good-looking running game before injuries. You accomplished a 1,000-yard receiver, would have had a 1,000-yard running back, and only thing that's gotten your way is pretty much a bust at quarterback. There are not many offensive coordinators that can get over a bust at quarterback.
Okay.
Right? And he started the majority of your games. But you got a backup looking like a starter. You got a backup looking like a starter so much, you're asking for why this guy that got kicked off of other teams, got kicked off the Cowboys, why can't he start the season? That's how good our offensive coordinator is. And people are talking about firing the coach. Your head coach has 3 Pro Bowlers going to the Pro Bowl. And we're talking about firing coaches. For who? Another pipe dream? Sean Payton's coming, guys. Another year of Sean Payton coming? What? Sean Payton's been coming for a while, right? So what is going on?
Okay, you talking about. Go ahead.
They do this. The Jets fans do this every year. They're like Knicks fans. Everybody's coming to the team. And no matter how successful our coaches get, unless I don't know when this season became playoff or bust. We started the year saying in December, I want to be in a playoff conversation. Guess what, Joe? In December, we were in a playoff conversation. We doubled the wins. We doubled the wins the first year. We basically about to double the wins the second year, and we're going into the third year. We're going to sit the bust quarterback down. We might have him learning on the bench or whatever. We're going to have a decent draft pick. So if this team can stay decently healthy, I don't see why this team can't win 10, 11 games. This team is not.
Here's my thing, and I hear you, and you're making your points, you're firing your take, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you. You're talking about Mike LaFleur. I know you're saying you want to keep him. He's so good. If he's so good, why can't the Jets score? I think that his struggles in the red zone, particularly, he's come out and talked about it himself. How much better he needs to be in the red zone. How the New York Jets should be punching things in and scoring points. If this guy's not able to get it done here, right? And again, there's a myriad of weapons. Yes, we had injuries, right? But Elijah Moore, he's playing. Garrett Wilson, he's playing. This system is not predicated on having one star back. That's not how they run that in San Francisco. They have a myriad of backs. You still got Michael Carter. You still got Bam Knight. You still got Ty Johnson, right? You still got all the other guys. Mind you, what happened to the big sets that we were supposed to be running, Dwayne? Everybody's singing Mike LaFleur's praises. What happened to the big sets? What happened to you utilizing Tyler Conklin and Uzama? What happened to that? We didn't see that at all, particularly in the red zone where they're supposed to be utilized the best because that's what those guys do. They make it happen. So why is it that Mike LaFleur shouldn't be getting heat, Dwayne, if the Jets are not finishing in the red zone when that points directly to him? His predictable play calling, we talk about it every single week. That points directly to him. So when is he gonna get the blame for that, Dwayne? I'm just asking. Go ahead.
I don't think he should not get any heat. Definitely he should get some heat for not adjusting, whatever the case may be. But when I look around this league, because I don't just judge the Jets by their history. I think a lot of that is happening. People are looking at the Jets' whole history or the last couple 10 years, and they're saying, listen, you suck every year. But this coaching staff wasn't around for 10 years, right? This is on their third. When I look around the league, that's how I judge the Jets. There are not a lot of teams who can't figure out their quarterback who are having great offenses. There are not a lot of teams whose Pro Bowl offensive linemen are getting injured, and they have to catch somebody up in 1 week. You know, let me sign them on Tuesday and start them on Sunday, that their offenses are just snapping right into place, right? Signing running backs on Monday, snap them right into place. So I think that's one of the biggest problems with this team is there's no consistency. At quarterback, there's no consistency at the offensive line. There's no consistency at running back. But what this team has, if people think this team has not accomplished something this year, you're absolutely wrong. If you sit back and you look at what the Jets have been, the nerve of Jets fans to look at all we've accomplished this year and ask and pretend like we're the fucking sorry for my language.
Watch it. Sorry. On my show. Go ahead. Just watch it. You're doing good. Go ahead.
But we're over here like we're the Chiefs. Like 7 wins. What is this? What's going? You know what I'm saying? Only 1,000-yard wide receiver. What's going on here? You know what I mean? Only 3 Pro Bowlers on defense. No, we are the Jets. We came from can I say cocaine addict? Coach?
Well, no, we came from a bad situation. Let's say that.
We came from a bad situation, Joe.
And we're getting better. All right. Listen,
and we're getting better.
And I hear you, Dwayne, and we are getting better. But I understand the heat that LaFleur is under, and I get why some people are so upset with his play calling because we thought we would get more. But to your point, again, There have been injuries, particularly along the offensive line, which made you adjust that, and Zach Wilson as well was bad this season. Listen, Dwayne, I got a lot of callers, all right, and I got to slide off. But before I let you go, quickly, give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins, who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up? Quickly.
Jets, Dolphins, 28-10, Jets win. And last thing I just want to say, if you look at this Jets team's history and you think you can gamble with bringing another coaching staff and you're not satisfied with where we can go with this coaching staff, I think you're risking a little bit too much. You're going back. You might be going back to what we were for the last 10 years.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you for calling in, Dwayne. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? Dwayne came in with some takes. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Steve. Steve, we're coming directly to you. Everyone, again, please hold on. We're getting to everybody. Lines are hot. Steve, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Steve, Jets lose to the Seahawks. Playoffs are done. What are your thoughts on this, man? How are you feeling?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. Again. You know something, Joe? Even though we're not going to the playoffs again, and it was amazing that we still had a chance. But to tell you the truth, Joe, I'm sad, I'm upset, and I'm honestly very heartbroken. It's 12 years now of this franchise of not making the playoffs. 12 years now, Joe. And it sucks. It really, really does. I mean, and the thing is, like, Joe, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen, I hear you. And it does suck. It does suck. But, again, we're in a building phase, and I know a lot of people talk about us not making the playoffs, and I get it, but we're in a rebuilding phase. We're going to continue to move on, continue to go forward. When you look at this situation, though, Steve, who's to blame for this loss to the Seahawks? Are you a guy that wants to see the Jets move on from, like, Mike LaFleur?
Honestly, it's the whole team, from coaching to offense to defense to special teams. Like, I got to tell you something right now. I think what the Jets need to do in the offseason, listen, I've been very upset the last few weeks, and I haven't been enjoying, like, his offensive style play calling. I don't understand, Joe, like, his play calling at all. Like, and the thing is that, like, it's just I just think that he honestly should be fired, but I don't think Robert Saleh's not going to fire him after the season. So, because the thing is, people were even saying, like, after when we got eliminated, we need to get in, like, someone who's an offensive experience at the coordinator position. But the thing is, I just don't know if that's going to happen. Now, here is my thing. I'm not saying that Robert Saleh should be fired after the season. I think he definitely will get another chance next year, and so will Joe Douglas. But if they get another chance next year is going to be like a year that they need to prove themselves that they can get in. Now, listen, I will give Joe Douglas credit for what he did during the 2022 draft, but the free agency has not really been good so far. And I think what's going to happen is in the offseason, Joe, is, I mean, we'll talk about this more because obviously we got one more game against Miami. Yeah. I think Joe Douglas needs to make some changes with this team, with his free agency, to save some money and pay guys that we should have that come to this team.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to definitely make some cuts, and some guys that are here are not going to be here, this next season. Again, we, like you said as well, we have a lot of time, and we'll discuss that once free agency comes. But I'll tell you what, one of the things I want to talk to you about, Steve, is the Jets quarterback position. You look at Mike White, a lot of people saying, hey, we should probably move on from him as well because of his bad performance against the Seahawks, didn't play very well. Do you agree with that? Do you think that this is the last time we should see Mike White as the starting quarterback of the New York Jets?
You know something, Joe? I got to tell you something right now. I really hate talking about this quarterback situation. I'm going to be very honest with you. I absolutely hate talking about this But the thing is that, listen, I think Mike White is a decent quarterback. Is he a guy that's going to get us to the next level? No. But the one thing I will say about Mike White is I think he's an outstanding backup. Like, I think he's an outstanding backup. And then the thing is, when you look back with the whole thing with the situation is, I don't know what Zach Wilson what's going to happen with Zach after the season. But, let me say something about Zach. Zach, I will say this year, had a very, very, very bad season. Do I think the Jets organization is going to give up on him after 2 seasons? I don't think so. And here is my thing. Despite Zach being very bad this year, I still think that Zach Wilson is really wonderfully talented. I think he has a lot of drive. I think he's got a lot of chances to be a great quarterback. But the thing is, what Zach Wilson has to do in the offseason is, and if he is still going to be with us, got to get his mentals together in the offseason. Like, he's got to,
there's going to be a lot that they have to work on with Zach Wilson. His mechanics are going to have to be worked on. Again, he's got to sit down with the quarterback coach and really get it together. His confidence, though, there's so much about Zach Wilson that is going to have to be fixed. I don't know. And again, we're sitting here right now, and everybody knows I love Zach, but I don't know if he's even going to be ready, especially by the time next year. I think they're going to have a quarterback competition if they don't say, hey, we're going with Mike White. I think they're going to have a competition because there's no way you could look at him and think that you can turn to Zach Wilson at this point. Not only his mechanics and his ability to read defenses, all of that is off, the basic stuff. He can't realize what's going on out there on the field on a basic level. But his confidence is shot. I'm talking he's broken, Steve, and we see it. We saw it after Saleh talked about his confidence being down. He talked about it after he got sat down against the Jaguars. So you've got to rebuild all that, and that is a lot to do, a lot to rebuild. But, Steve, you've been bringing some fire takes, man. Before I let you go, because the lines are hot, give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins, who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think the game ends up?
You know something, Joe? I'm just going to say this right now. Whether we win or lose this game, I just want the Jets season just to finish because it's been a sad, depressing season, unfortunately. I mean, listen, and I do agree with you said earlier in the show. Do I think this season was a failure for the New York Jets? No. They did a lot of great things, and what things that hurt this season was, and unfortunately, I hate to tell you, Joe, but at times, as much as I love this team is cursed, okay? This team is absolutely cursed. From losing Breece Hall. And hang on, Joe, let me finish before I let you talk. From losing Breece Hall.
Hold on a second, Steve. Before you go on. I hear what you're saying. The Jets have had issues, but again, injuries and stuff like that happens around the league. We have to be able to recover for them. But the Jets, at times during this season, just didn't capitalize in those spots where they needed to win. Now, figuring out the Jets quarterback position is big, and hopefully they do that, going forward. Maybe Mike White's going to be the guy. Maybe not, but it's going to be really tough, especially, again, trying to figure out how we do things offensively. Now, quickly, Steve. Again,
that roughing the pass.
Quickly. Yeah, the roughing the pass, all that stuff. Can you go ahead? I'll let you finish, but give me your final score prediction as well.
All right. I'll just say this. I'll just go back to what I was going to say. That roughing the passer call on John Franklin Myers back in Week 8 in New England still stinks. Should have never been a penalty. That was another thing that hurt our season, too. All right, but, Joe, my final score prediction for the game is if Tua and Teddy Bridgewater don't play, but I do think Teddy's going to probably play, I do think the Jets will win the last game of the year. I'll give them a 20-16 win over the Dolphins.
All right, 20-16. Listen, Steve, you brought some great takes, man. I got to slide off. You have a good one.
All right, thank you, Joe. Good night.
All right, good night. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers next. Oh, well, Brandon, hopefully you get back in here. We're going to go to Brandon. Next, I'm going to my guy, Rusty. Rusty, I'm coming directly to you. All right? I'm coming directly to you. Salute to you, Rusty. For those of you that do not know, Rusty, he's a savage. Savage! Listen, Rusty, Jets lose to the Seattle Seahawks, man. Give me your thoughts about this loss, man. How do you feel?
Well, salutes, Joe. Salutes, fellow savages.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing pains. I'm not happy, but I'm also a realist and I can see through it, But I think it's LaFleur, and that's at LAFLOOR, by the way, and not LaFleur. We'll have a pinky up buttercup. He's lost his booth privileges.
Go ahead. Here you go. You
I'm about to tear into a tangent. Just hold on 2 seconds. I'm just grabbing Chinese food real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Hold on a second. Listen, I hear you, Rusty. You look at this situation. There has been some issues with Mike LaFleur. You look at the play calling. It's been tough there. His issues with, especially, in the red zone, I think have been documented. But there's a lot of Jets fans that are calling for his head, a lot of Jets fans that are looking at the situation saying, hey, we need to move on for this guy, especially with our offense struggling the way that it has, because the defense has been able to put in work. The defense has kept us in games. I mean, what are your thoughts about that, Rusty? Are you for getting rid of Mike LaFleur? Do you think that he should be the coach that should be the scapegoat for the Jets' bad season?
Well, I don't think just him. I think, Earlbrick or whatever the heck, I think he had a little thing to do with it too. Not playing JSM next to Quinnen is criminal. Like that drove me crazy all season. I don't know how you don't do that. I mean, LaFleur needs training wheels, man. And it's sad to say, but it starts from when we lost Coach Knapp. LaFleur wasn't even supposed to be our OC. He was supposed to be, grandfathered into that, if you will. And
he was going to be our OC. Knapp was supposed to be the guy that really was going to be like the quarterback's guy. And I think Calabrese is the guy that's the quarterback guy now. But losing Coach Knapp was tough, and people talk about it constantly, the impact that he, could have absolutely had on Zach Wilson. But, continue on with your take there. When you look at the situation here with coaching, I want to get your thoughts on this. I'm not saying it's me, but what I am saying is, there's a lot of Jets fans that are ready to move on from Saleh as a whole, saying, hey, we should just get rid of him as well, dump the whole staff, because they're intrigued about the Sean Payton situation there. He's supposedly one of the best in the league. And he's okay, give me your thoughts on it. I want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off like that, but I don't think so, man. Like, because you go, if he gets a whiff, say Coach Saleh gets a whiff of us looking up, trying to sniff around for Harbaugh or Peyton or any of those dudes, it's going to lose the fire. Like, when you look at our team and we're sitting there getting, our face kicked in, spit on and everything, and we only give up, 20 points, 23 points as a whole while we're getting dog-walked in the first half. We're so used to losing those games 40-0, 40-3, and higher. And that's all Saleh. That is literally Saleh's spirit. The thing is I honestly think he's just got to get his quote-unquote friends out of his coaching system. You can't, you know what I mean? Okay. It's like a CEO hiring his best friend as a president of his company. That's not going to happen to, you know what I mean? That doesn't work. You need not to have that comfortability. You know what I mean? You have to have accountability.
Absolutely, and I hear you. But and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I hear what you're saying about Saleh, and you like him, and I kind of do as well. But his game management stinks. You look at the situation. How many times have we been talking about? Oh, clock man! I was just about to get there. You look at that Lions game. What are you?
Oh, that drives me
You're going to
crazy.
go home with those timeouts in your pocket. Look at the Jaguars game. Our playoff lives are still in the balance there. Guess what? He leaves old Zach Wilson out there when he should have pulled him. Look at this game against the Seahawks. You can clearly, visibly see that Mike White is hurt, and you still keep him out there as well. I mean, isn't his game management just enough where you look at the situation and you can say to yourself, he shouldn't be the guy going forward? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
But then who do you take? Say, now you got Saleh's sour taste in his mouth. If we couldn't land, Sean Payton or Harbaugh, now what? You know what I mean? Now he's not trusty. Now he's not trusting you. The one guys that should be connected at the hip should be JD and Saleh. All the other dudes, you can be irreversible. You can be chips in the game of pawn, if you will. Pawn chips in the game of life. Sorry, I butchered the heck out of that. But
no, listen.
That's how it should.
Yeah, I hear you, and I look at the situation like this as well. You look at Saleh, and yeah, he has had some struggles this year, as far as his clock management, but he's also made some brilliant decisions this year as well, right? And if you look at how the team rallies around him, all of the things that he's been able to bring here as far as his, we weren't even a free agent destination at one point. Players wanted to come here simply to play under him, and I think that's huge as well, right? He's changed everything around. And our defense, as bad as our offense has been, our defense has been phenomenal this season. I think only twice this year somebody scored, above, I think, 24 points against, or 25 points against us. I think it was like the Browns and the Vikings. We've been in every single game because of our defense. Anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've been in every single game this year because our defense has played so bad. It's just that our offense has.
Baltimore was the only hiccup.
And again, yeah. So my final question for you, Rusty, because you're bringing the heat, bro. Give me your thoughts about the idea of moving on from Mike White. Are you a guy that thinks that because White played badly in this game, it's done for him here, that he shouldn't be the Jets starting quarterback at, any point next season, that we should be looking elsewhere? Are you ready to move on from Mike White?
Well, I never thought that he was a starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, he's a true bridge quarterback who's mad good. You know what I mean? Like, Frank Reich did some crazy stuff and did comebacks and all that stuff, but, the dude is, quote unquote, not a starter. Sorry, but it is true. Like, he could pull that magic out of his hat, but is not that reliable. And I don't want a car either, man. And that's with 2 R's. And he's a fumbleitis guy, and he's terrible in bad weather. Those are 2 things that we have. It's just is what it is. Not with the fumbles, but just with the weather and wind and everything. But that's how I feel about that situation. And we're gonna dog walk Miami too. I feel that because it's a typical Jets way. And instead of picking 13th in the draft, or instead of 9th, we're gonna pick 13th or something. What?
Give me your final score prediction on that, Rusty.
I think it's gonna be a blowout. I really do. I'm saying 35 plus to 3 us. I really see it.
Okay.
Down in Miami,
I hear you. Go ahead and finish up quickly.
Yeah, it's just guys going to already be in Miami, and it's our typical fashion, If you can't get the number 9 pick, you might as well get the 13th or higher, whatever. Yeah. But then I hope we trade back in the draft. But I know you got a lot of busy stuff going on, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on. But listen, Rusty, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend?
Absolutely, brother. And, let's go Jets, and salutes to you and the fellow Savages.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Happy New Year's to all the Savages in the chat, man. We're going to keep on rolling. Next, I'm going to my guy, Jason. Chris, Julio, Venom, all the other callers. We'll get to you in a second. Salutes to you, Jason. For those of you that don't know, Jason, he's a Savage, man. Listen, Jason, welcome to the show, man. We've been talking all night. Jets lose to Seattle 23-6, man. Playoff hopes down the drain. How are you feeling about it?
Well, I get into this because this is going to be something. Happy Christmas, and I hope you had a good New Year.
Absolutely, Blue. Happy New Year to you as well.
My goodness, I actually went to this game, and
oh my goodness,
yeah. So I got to see the whole 12 and everything, and I got to see our team lose with no energy, with them not even trying to win this game in a playoff or win or go, and it was just bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah. No, it was bad. They came out flat. They looked just unprepared, and that leads me to my next question with you, man. You were there at the game. When you came away from that game and you saw what had happened out there, what are your thoughts about Saleh's game management? There was a lot of people absolutely going off on him about that. What are your thoughts about it?
Man, dude, like, this team has given up on Saleh, in my opinion, dude. It's sad to say, but you could just see it, man. Just the offense don't kill anymore. The defense doesn't kill, dude. They just don't. They're just not doing the best, dude. I think I see where people are coming from when they say they want Saleh out, is because the team has given up on this guy, and it's just so tired. You could see it. There's no life, man. If you looked, I was watching the Seahawks sideline and Jets sideline. The Seahawks sideline, dude, they looked lively. They looked like they were ready to go. They looked like it was a playoff game for them.
Yeah.
We looked dead. We looked like we're just standing there just to be happy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was frustrating to watch. Now, you were there live at the game. What were your thoughts about Mike White? There's a lot of Jets fans ready for him to move on. Do you think that he should be a guy that should get a chance next year to be the New York Jets starting quarterback, or are you done with him at this point?
Well, for people who know me, they know I'm a Mike White person. So I said for this guy to go out there and see what we got in him, and he did play bad. I do that first INT is on. You can't defend that, man. He shouldn't have thrown that, and it sucked. But you know what? He had one bad game, and this is the game where everyone on that team quit. So I'm not willing to give up on him yet. I'm willing to let him come back, and whoever we bring in, let him fight for that star spot. But that game, he sucked at the Seahawks game. I have to admit that. Even though I'm a Mike White person, dude, he sucked. I'm sorry. I can't defend him on that.
No, I mean, it is what it is. Now, my final question for you, Jason, you've been bringing the heat. Do you consider this season a failure because the Jets missed the playoffs?
So, I will start. So, I do consider this a failure, and there's a reason why. Not because we didn't get to the playoffs.
Okay.
Because of that. In the beginning, we were 6-3, and now we're 7-8. We lost 5 straight games. Oh, no, 6 straight games. Yeah. Oh, no, not 6, 5, sorry. There's no excuse to lose 5 straight games. If we were won at least one of those games, we would be in the playoffs. Or we'd be talking playoffs at this point. There's no excuse losing that. So we were 6-3. We were all high and going, and just how it ended up is a disappointment. And now we have more questions than right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I hear your take there. So before I let you go, Jason, give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think this game ends up?
Well, I envy all the Jets fans that says, man. But if our team wasn't there when our most important game, and they weren't out there even to try on that game, what do you think they're going to try in this game? It doesn't matter who's there to. Dude, our offense, dude, it sucked too because looking to our game, we had 7 drops happen. It just I don't see us winning this because of the energy. We don't have they just don't care anymore. They want to end the season.
Wow. Okay. Give me a score, man.
So let's see. So I'm gonna give this probably. I know I'm gonna get heated for this. I know it's gonna suck, but I'm going to see 6-17 Dolphins.
Oh, okay. Ooh, 6-17. Well, listen, Jason, it was phenomenal to speak to you tonight. I got to slide off. You have yourself a good one, all right?
You too. Jets up. Bye.
All right, absolutely. And Happy New Year's to him as well. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I don't consider this season a failure. I don't. I'm disappointed with us not making the playoffs. But a failure, I don't consider it a failure. But I'm going to keep on getting to these Savages. Salute to all the Savages in the chat. Happy New Year's to every single one of you. Keep putting those questions in there. We'll be coming to you folks in just a second. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Chris. Chris, I'm coming directly to you. And we're going to talk to Chris, man. He's always got some solid takes. For those of you that don't know, Chris, he's a savage, man. Savage. Chris, I want to thank you for coming on. Listen, give me your thoughts, man. Jets lose to the Seahawks. Playoff hopes are over. Should the Jets get rid of Mike LaFleur? Give me your thoughts.
Hi, Joe. Happy New Year. And before I answer that, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin and his family. I hope he's doing all right.
Absolutely.
Hope I hear good news, and hopefully he'll be ready to go pretty soon. With that set to the side, I knew from the start we were going to lose. Okay. First of all, we were dealing with the 12th man. We never had a chance against the 12th man. That's number one. Number two, the whole everything was. This was expected. I expected this because this is a repetition of 2015. We started off good, then we choked. That's why I had my suspicions the moment we started winning those games, and then all of a sudden after the bye we started losing those games. And I knew from the start my suspicions were correct. It was going to be a crash landing. I mean, what's more there to say?
I mean, I hear you there. I won't say that I knew from, before the game started that we were done. But I tell you what, that 60-yard run at the beginning definitely woke me up. And I thought, hey, the Jets better get it together or we're going to be in some bad, situations. And as the game played out, we kind of were. Now, as we continued on, we saw Mike White, really go out there and not play his best as well. What were your thoughts about his performance in the game? And do you think that this is kind of closing the door on him being the Jet starter next season?
I had no confidence of putting him out on the field because of his rib conditions. Playing with crushed ribs is not a healthy thing to do, because think about it. Mm-hmm. You play with busted rib, what's the scenario? You're risking your quarterback to get injured. I didn't want him to play, to be honest. When I announced them when they announced that he was going to play, I was like, oh, my God, another mistake they're making.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to blame – here's the thing. I'm not going to blame Mike White. I'm not going to blame the offensive coordinators. This is basically has been like this from the start. This has been I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I'm lost for words at the moment. Though I'm not surprised, but I'm lost for words.
Listen, and I hear you. So my final question before I let you go, man, is this season a failure in your eyes because the Jets didn't make the playoffs?
Let me tell you this, Joe. I never expected playoffs when the season started. I only expected development because this was supposed to be a development year. Unfortunately, the majority of us Jets fans, we got so obsessed with the winning streak that we forgot what the true objective was. On the other hand, I wanted development. Next year it was supposed to be playoffs. So as the guy in the commercial said, playoffs? What are you talking about? Playoffs? No, I mean, let's be real here. But anyway, I knew this season was going to be a failure anyway. I had my predictions. But one quick thing before I give you my final score. The quarterback situation, I don't want no veterans at all. No veterans. I want them to work with what they have. Okay? I want them to work what they have a competition between Zach and Mike, okay? And then we'll see where it goes from there. Oh, all right?
Well,
because
I mean, if there's a competition between Zach Wilson and Mike White, I'm sorry, you've seen it at this point. Mike White's going to win it. That's why
Doesn't
Mike
matter.
White started.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But that's,
those
so
two.
you want to stick with Mike White, basically. At this point, you look at Zach Wilson, he's not going to give you much of anything. I mean, the competition is already pretty much done. I mean, unless they think that something just magical is going to happen with Zach Wilson. Again, I don't want to close the door on the guy, but when you look at how he's looked so far this season and how broken he is, it's tough to think that he's just going to magically come out of nowhere and just be the guy next season and beat Mike White out. I think Mike White is going to beat him out again. So I hear what you're saying, though.
Joe, you know how this league is. Mysterious things happen. Karma comes in to bite us. So anything can happen.
I guess.
Now for my final score, we're gonna give Miami a ticket to the playoffs. Okay, because I have a feeling we're not gonna win this one. We're just gonna close it out. It's gonna be a low scoring score because both teams are like banged up. So I say 16-10 Miami.
16-10 Miami. Whoa.
Thank you,
Chris,
for having me,
Joe,
and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Chris calling in. Said ticket to the playoffs. Whoa, we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to Julio. Venom, other callers will come to you in a second. Julio, salute to you. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, that man Julio, he's a savage. Man, Chris said a ticket to the playoffs. What's going on, Julio? Listen, man.
Nothing much.
Jets.
Happy New Year.
Jets. Happy New Year to you as well. Jets take a loss, man. We're missing the playoffs. Give me your thoughts, man. Is this a failure of a season because the Jets have missed the playoffs?
Oh, no. We predicted it was going to be a 7-win season, and we got what we got. All right?
Okay.
It's not a failure. I think next year we're going to be the bomb.
Okay. So when you look at the situation, right, a lot of people are calling for Saleh to either be fired or fire someone in the staff, right? And the guy that they're looking at is Mike LaFleur. What are your thoughts about him, his play calling, and would you be open to the Jets firing Mike LaFleur? Is that something you think should happen?
I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm going to be honest. It's only been 2 years they've been working together with a new team. Remember, 2 years ago, nobody wanted to come to us, you know? So they started from scratch trying to build it like a 49er team, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so
even with Sean Payton out there, Julio, you wouldn't be – you're still saying stick with Saleh, don't let – okay.
Yeah, because look what we have accomplished. 2 years, we became a 7-win team.
Yeah.
You know? We got a good defense. We got all the right pieces. We're only missing one great piece, and we got to build for that, you know?
Yeah, and that's at the quarterback position. I think, and that's where I want to go with you next. Mike White, he didn't play very well against Seattle. My final question for you, man, what are your thoughts? What should the Jets do at quarterback? Are you willing to stick with Mike White next season, or are you thinking the Jets should look elsewhere?
I'll put it like this. Mike White is a good quarterback. But, you know, I'm a Zach Wilson kind of guy anyway, right?
Okay.
Just like, you know, everybody keep on talking about Derek Carr. I don't think he's coming. They need to forget about Derek Carr. He's not coming. But I really think what's possible, and don't get me wrong, I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be one of the front runners to come over there.
Okay.
He's competitive, but he's been to the Super Bowl. Then Aaron Rodgers might be one because he followed Aaron Rodgers, you know. And Zach Wilson can sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year to learn.
Okay. Well, you know, and a lot of people talk about Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, but I just those are tough. I just don't think that's going to happen. But go on quickly.
The dark horse is
keep in mind, Saleh came from the 49ers and is under the what's his name tree.
Shanahan tree.
Shanahan. Look, Shanahan don't want no quarterback competition with Brock Purdy and their quarterback that they drafted. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that Brock Purdy could go on a trade probably for a couple picks or C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, I just
all right?
saying. I just saying that's
okay,
a dark horse. It's a dark horse. They don't want no competition. Just remember,
yeah, I mean,
they already set on their future quarterback.
Yeah,
and if they don't, if they don't, I know C.J. Mosley is out.
Yeah, again, I think C.J. Mosley, again, we'll talk about his contract, but I think C.J. Mosley is more than likely to stay. I think they'll stay with Mike White before they trade off quite a bit of picks for Purdy. But before I let you go, Julio, you've been bringing some takes, man. Give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins, who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think this game ends up?
I'll be honest. I think the Dolphins going to win because they're just trying to get that test pick in the draft. If they can they're 78% are getting that 10th spot if they lose.
Give me the score, man. Give me a score.
I think it's going to be a close one.
Okay.
21-24. Dolphin win.
Oh, man. All right, Julio. I want to thank you for calling in, man. You have yourself a good one, man.
You too, buddy.
Call it in with some text, man. All right. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Julio said he thinks the possibility to trade for Purdy. I don't know about that, all right? I will tell you this. I think that Mike White is definitely going to be in consideration for the Jets starting quarterback position. And I also think that a quarterback competition as far as some veterans could be brought in. Like I said, Carr, Garoppolo, who's a guy that's been in this system, seen some success here. Don't be surprised. I want to be very clear. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's amazing, all right? I actually want the Jets to draft him, okay, because I didn't think we were going to draft Sam Darnold. I didn't think it was a chance, okay? But I just don't know. I think he sticks with the Ravens, and I think that Rodgers probably is going to stick with Green Bay as well. I just don't see those guys coming here, but we'll talk about that. Again, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Venom G's. I'm coming to Venom G's. Angelo, Rick, we'll get to you in a second, other callers too. Venom G's, for those of you that do not know, okay, that boy Venom G's. Venom, you already know what time it is, and you know what it's about, all right?
Jets Joe, let's go.
No playoffs here, my friend. Give me your thoughts about this situation. How much of this loss do you put on Saleh? You know, when you see this team come out flat, what are your thoughts, man? Is this all on Saleh? And, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is on him because like they said, your team reflects you. So I think they're reflecting him because he's so calm. He's no high, no lows. He's just monotone. So they're probably just taking on his persona. So there's no screaming, no yelling, no sit downs, no nothing. So, everybody just feel like they could get away with it. And it's just like a job. When your boss ain't that serious, you ain't going to be that serious. He ain't firing nobody. You're just going to be like, all right, I could get away with anything here. So, he ain't suspending me for nothing. So, I think that's the type. Because we was headed for the playoffs, man. You come out, you have the desire to show out, but they don't have that yet, man. Or it could just be, a learning curve because, like you said, with these young guys, they don't know what they don't know. But the coach is supposed to coach them up to figure this thing out, man. We was set up in a beautiful spot, but I'm not blaming it all on Saleh. He doesn't call the offensive plays. He's this team, man, we just know our future is bright. That's all I know. That's all I could think about now is what's coming forward next year.
Hold on, Venom.
Yep.
You start talking about offensive play calling. That was my next question. LaFleur, there's Jets fans that they're at his neck. Do you think Mike LaFleur should be fired?
Man, I don't think so.
Yes
man.
or no?
I think we
don't do it. Okay, talk about it. I'm
Joe,
not letting nobody
if it's
duck
me,
the smoke tonight.
Joe,
nobody.
If it's me, I'm not. Yo, Joe, if it's me and you, I'm not hiring my homeboy to coach nothing. I need because that's his homeboy. He's like, yo, there's some people got to go, and Saleh, I don't think he's willing to let this guy go. So he's gonna do whatever he can for this guy to succeed, but. You know, I would let him go. I would let him go.
Wow.
Get somebody else in the building, man. But you can't really look at him. It's just like Zach Wilson. You can't know what he got until you put a competent player in that position and see what he's doing. Like I told you before, Joe, the play caller wasn't the issue. It was the quarterback running the plays. Now, when you put Mike White in, you be like, oh, this looks different. Then when you put Strebler in, then when you put, everybody in there, the offense moves. So he's okay at. It's just the players, and like the last caller said, they messed up when they put Mike White in, and his ribs were still messed up because we all saw that he was hurt. He was in throwing with the velocity. He was getting it out on time. He was overthrowing guys. So. I can't blame Mike White. I love Mike White. He should be in the building next year. They should lock him down, but they got to bring in somebody that could push Zach Wilson to get to the next plateau, or just even let him sit. And I think the most interesting thing Saleh said at the press conference the other day was, look at how many other Jets quarterbacks leave and then start progressing. Because I swear, Sam Darnold born out this weekend, last weekend. My man Sam D is looking good, baby. We should have kept that.
Hold on. Okay, listen. So now everybody loves Sam Darnold. I'm just saying.
Joe, Joe.
Listen,
Joe.
People used to hop all over me. All right, come on, everybody.
Smoking crack. Stop.
Come on, guys. Everybody used to hop all over. Joe, you're defending Sam. Oh, Joe, blah, 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 blah. Well, listen here, okay?
Joe,
first off, and I hear that take. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was in the same boat with you, bro. All the way to the end, me and you was riding in the same boat. We was smoking crack together.
Talk about it. Okay, now listen. I understand what Saleh was saying with that, how Jets quarterbacks go elsewhere and have success. But when you look at the past here, right, with the New York Jets, and I think that this is something that no one talked about when they hear about that take. I don't think there was a Jets quarterback that was set up for success here that moved on and did well elsewhere like Zach Wilson has been set up for success. Sam Darnold never had as great as I believe that Sam could have been here, right? Not just because I'm an MC guy, fight on, but he never had the offensive line. He never had the coaching. He never had the weapons, right? He never had a running game like we had. He didn't have nothing close to what Zach had. Nothing. You talk about Geno Smith. Geno never had an opportunity to start with the type of weapons and stuff. That's when Fitz came here and did his. So I think that's really tough to try to make that take, and a lot of people are glossing over that. Zach Wilson, as much as I like Zach, has no excuse to be bad. He has no excuse. Zach Wilson has not shown anywhere near the level of talent to this point. He has not shown anywhere near the level of talent that Sam Darnold showed here. And people are just glossing over. He had every single thing that you could possibly ask a quarterback to have given to him. A running game, tight ends, wide receivers, offensive line. This whole thing was overhauled for him coming into this season. Give me your thoughts on that. I'll give you the final word on that, Venom, quickly.
I agree with you. Joe, I was saying Zach was trash from the jump because I just can't see it in home. And I'm not a fan of handing anybody anything. It's different when you earn it. It's different when you get it out the mud. And Mike White get it out the mud. Russell Wilson had to get it out the mud. This kid came in there like his crap don't stink. He came in there acting like he's that dude, and he wasn't even that dude. Sam was sitting in the pocket, throwing to Robbie Anderson, having touchdowns. The way this dude throws is so much better than Zach Wilson. I don't think we should get rid of him, sit him on the bench, let him get a year and a half, maybe 2 years to just sit back and watch competent football. But we cannot put that kid back out there. We got to get this whole line fixed, and everything else. Man.
Yeah, no, you're talking facts. So quickly before I let you go, because I got callers and we're getting short, give me your final score prediction. Jets, Dolphins. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up?
I think this is going to be 24 Jets to 13 the Dolphins. I think the Jets win in this one, man.
Listen, Venom, it was phenomenal to speak to you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? Call in. I love going back and forth.
Definitely. Happy New Year, bro.
You have yourself a good one. Happy New Year to you as well. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. Again, we're getting a little short on time, so be quick with your takes. I want to hear from everybody. So next, we're going to my guy, Rick. Rick, we're coming directly to you. Angelo, Colin, Maxwell, other callers. We'll get to you quickly as well. Rick, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, my friend, Jets lose to Seattle Seahawks. We're out of the playoffs. Do you consider season a failure because we didn't make the playoffs?
Actually, I'm on the not really, because again, we started off with like low expectations, Again, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things changing, young roster, young coaching staff. So it's like, okay, and again, now with the whole, Mike LaFleur, should he keep his job and stuff, I'm going to leave it to the organization, because it's like, look, they got to figure out, what I'm saying, at the end of the day, he definitely needs to do better as an offensive coordinator. That's a fact, Now, so I'll leave it to the organization to be like, hey, they review it, they figure it out. Let them figure out whether they should believe in Mike LaFleur and thinking that he can improve.
Well,
or he's just not going to be able to. Huh? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they're absolutely I hear you, Rick, but they're absolutely going to do that. Again, Saleh has pretty much come out and given publicly his vote of confidence to Mike LaFleur. So I doubt that he fires him, but that could be on the table. Again, this offense has struggled pretty much all season to put up points, and the defense has kept us in games in positions where we should have took those games. So my final question for you before I let you go, quickly, give me your thoughts on the Jets quarterback position. In your mind, Mike White, is he done here? Should the Jets look to move on from him after this season?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure either which way. Again, that's something that I think they got to figure out, because honestly, I do believe in, like, there's a lot of outside noise when it comes to this organization, and I do think it kind of affects the people in the organization. So I'll just leave it for the team, and I'll say this real quick. One thing I realized too is, really, for any organization, it's best to have your own homegrown quarterback, because there's really not many. It's super rare for an organization to be successful. When they have a quarterback that they didn't grow. Like, it's rare. Like the Bucs are like the best example. And how many teams have had like the bust situation? You know what I'm saying? So like, that's one thing.
Listen,
so like,
Rick,
I don't really have much confidence in the Jets' success going forward if they have to bring in a quarterback. Again, that's just my opinion in the big picture.
And I hear you, Rick. So I hear you. Now, give me your score prediction really quickly. Jets, Dolphins, who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it is up?
It depends if it's Tua, because if Tua's there, I think they're going to beat us, because especially the way we've been playing and whatnot. Now, if Tua's not there, I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game, probably like 10. Without Tua, I'd give it to the Jets, probably like 10. The Jets get like maybe 14 or something. It's still going to be close, low-scoring game.
Okay, but
they
you're
maybe
taking the
squeeze
Jets
it out.
to win in that position. Okay. And, again, I want to thank Rick for calling in. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Next, we're going to my guy, Angelo. Angelo, we're coming directly to you. Colin, Max, other callers, we'll get to you in a second. Salutes to you, Angelo. I want to thank you for calling in. Again, we're a little short on time, so I want you to quickly give me your takes on the Jets losing to the Seahawks. Playoffs are out of the question. What are your thoughts about the Jets quarterback position? Should they move on from Mike White after this season, as you saw his performance against the Seahawks?
Yeah, it's tough, man. And, again, I don't consider the season a failure either. It's just it's just hard because we got off to such a good start. And, again, the injuries derailed our season. You know, with Breece Hall there, I think that's the thing we're forgetting about. With Breece Hall there, we prove that, you know, we don't need an Aaron Rodgers at quarterback to win games. So let's be clear, we can do a couple different things. You know, we can run it back with Mike White and Zach Wilson, which is probably not going to happen. You know, we can make a big free agent splash, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, maybe even a Daniel Jones or a Derek Carr. And I think Joe Douglas is going to make phone calls, you know. So whether the deal's right, but he's going to make phone calls. Or, you know, looking at where we're going to be drafting, maybe between the 9th and maybe 15th pick, somewhere between there. You got a QB at the University of Florida, Anthony Richardson, 6'4", 230 pounds, just a monster. A little raw, you know, a little inaccurate, but you know, do you see the Jets going another first-round pick on a quarterback? I mean, I think it kind of depends on what we do in free agency, because, you know, and then one more thing about the QBs, you got the lower-ranked guys, the Taylor Heineke's, the Jarrett Stidhams now that are coming up. You know, but if we're going to go that way, isn't that kind of like similar to Mike White? So I think that, you know, if Jarrett Stidham has another big game, and, you know, the Raiders are probably going to take Will Levis out of Kentucky with the 7th or 8th pick, we got a lot of options. But, you know, Joe's going to be on the phone. And you know, who's better to handle this than Joe Douglas? You know, right? I feel like we had another season where we finished where we thought we were, right? 7-9, 7-10. You know, we had a lot of injuries. We still played hard, and we kind of just went flat. You know, it is what it is. You know, we lost that tough game in New England, the punt return. You know, we lost the Minnesota game really close. So those, you know, the C.J. Mosley 4th and 1 jumping over the line against Buffalo kind of lost that game. You know, so it's like those are 3 games right there that we were in. And we were in, man. Yep. So do we really need it? You know, it's just it is. It's not a failure, but, man, we were just so close, and we definitely built on last year. But as far as the QBs, you got to lay out those 4 situations here, and Joe Douglas is going to be all over all 4 of them.
No, he absolutely is, and you bring a lot of great takes there. I think it's tough for us to be talking about taking a quarterback again in the first round, and I know that there's going to be guys out there. You brought up a guy as well, and we'll continue to talk about that. But I'll tell you what, if we do get a top 10 pick, the opportunity to trade down and garner more capital, this offensive line needs to be fixed in a bad way. And even with Mekhi Becton come back, I think the only guy you can really look at, I mean, AVT is a guy you definitely want to keep. Mekhi Becton's probably going to be here again next season. Lakeland Tomlinson is not very good. Connor McGovern is not very good. Fant and Brown, those are guys that, you know, again, are not very good. They're not showing it. You got to retool this line, and we could use a lot of capital in this upcoming draft to retool the line. So that's an idea that could be thrown out as well. But you give a lot of great options and ideas there, Angelo. Before I let you go, man, give me your final score prediction quickly. Jets, Dolphins, who do you think wins? Who do you think loses?
You know, it's back to last year, man. It's like now we want to lose to get the draft pick, man. It's like, you know, I feel like last year it happened earlier in the year where we were doing that, but it comes to it, man. This is every year for the Jets. We're planning on losing for the draft pick, and I'm going to say Dolphins 24, Jets 13. Let's get that top 10 pick.
I want to thank you for calling in, Angelo. You have yourself a good one. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. Next, we're going to Colin. Colin, we're coming to you. Maxwell, other callers as well. We'll try to get to you. But Colin, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that don't know, listen, this dude, Colin, he's a savage. And he's a hater as well. Let's not forget that, okay? He is a hater. No?
I'm a hater. Happy New Year.
Now,
Happy
listen,
New Year, Joe.
Happy New Year,
Savages.
well. Quickly, because we're getting short on time. Give me your thoughts. Lost to the Seahawks. We're out of the playoffs. What are your takes on this, man?
Yeah. We won games we should have lost, and we lost games we should have won. And I think a lot of this has to do with experience all around. The coach, head coach, OC, defensive coordinator. These guys are not, top notch. They'll get there. So, as far as firing coaches, I'm not firing anyone. I'm keeping everyone. You want to build a team the right way. Keep the guys. Let them go into their third season. They mistakes they made this year, I'm sure they're going to correct them next season. So, let's try to keep everyone together. As far as the quarterback position, though,
go ahead. Give us your take on that quickly. Go ahead.
My take on Joe Douglas is that he doesn't like to spend money, and at some point you're going to have to realize you got to spend money on some players to make the team even much better. The highest paid person is probably C.J. Mosley, and we're ready to cut him because we're paying him less than $20 million. So go out and put as much money on the table for Lamar, Aaron Rodgers, or one of these guys, and keep Zach Wilson so he can learn from one of these guys. If you got to let go of Mike White, you let go of Mike White.
Okay, so quickly, I want to hear this from you really quickly. If Lamar and Aaron Rodgers are not on the table, because I understand a lot of people talking about them and things are swirling. We see this every year. If they're not on the table, quickly, Garoppolo, Carr, who you go with?
Probably Carr, only because he tends to be more healthier. Garoppolo just tends to get hurt like every season. So I would probably go with Derek Carr. I'm not sure who's younger. But, if you're going to go with Derek Carr, then you might as well stay with Mike White and Zach.
I don't know. Derek Carr, again, I'm a West Coast guy. I see a lot of, those Raiders. And there's been a lot of dysfunction there with the Raiders, okay? There's been a lot of issues. And I think that Derek Carr is a very solid – and, again, I'm not dumping on Mike White. But I think Derek Carr can really lift this offense if given the chance. But I'll give you the final word quickly and give me your final score prediction as well before I let you go.
Yeah. Derek Carr will be a little better than Mike White, in my opinion. But you got to look at what we're competing against in the AFC, right? There's just a lot of quarterbacks there that you have to get over the hurdle. So, I don't think Derek Carr will take us to the Super Bowl. But, like I said, we won games we should have lost, and we lost games we should have won. And this game on Sunday is a game that we should lose because of the, the draft pick. But watch, we're going to go and win this one, and everyone is excited that we won the last game for no reason. So
give me your score prediction.
So, I'll give you a 17-13 Jets.
17-13 Jets. I want to thank Colin for calling in, and don't forget, Colin's a hater, man. He's a hater. He'll let you know. I'm going to keep getting to these lines. Maxwell, we're coming directly to you. Maxwell, we're going to be talking to you quickly. I want to hear your takes. Maxwell, quickly, give me your thoughts. Jets lose to the Seahawks. Playoff hopes are done. Is this season a failure because we didn't make the playoffs?
So originally, in the start of the season, before the season, I thought that the Jets would be good with 7 or 8 wins. I think, if the expectations was to have 7 or 8 wins. As the season went on, though, we were 6-3. I would say in the season, I think it's a failure because we had the biggest class. 6-3, we had the easier part of the bye. I thought the Jets were going to be in the playoffs, but no. Since the game against the Vikings, the Jets have been collapsing. So this is probably the biggest collapse I've seen in Jets history.
No, well, I mean, there's a lot of people saying that they feel like it's the biggest collapse. I don't know if it's the biggest collapse. I understand the disappointment. I understand, we didn't make the playoffs. But, again, we're still in rebuild mode. And I don't think a lot of people reasonably thought the Jets were going to make the playoffs because, again, we have at that point, coming into the season, a lot of unproven young talent. And I don't think anybody really thought that Sauce would come in and be, if not the best corner, a top 5 corner in this league, off the bat. The impact of Breece Hall, just all the Garrett Wilson, who's probably going to have over 1,000 yards, already has broken records here with the Jets as a rookie wide receiver here, and just all the things that we had, and especially with our quarterback play being as up and down. So it's shocking. But, Max, before I let you go, give me your final score prediction, Jets, Dolphins. Who do you think wins? Who do you think loses? How do you think it ends up?
So it really depends. If Skylar Thompson or the other quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, I think the Jets would win. But if Tua plays, which I highly doubt, I think Dolphins would win. So I think it really depends on which quarterback for the Dolphins is playing because the Dolphins as well have a really big collapse. And we were trying to get them out of the playoffs and get the Steelers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. So let's say Tua wins. Give it to me. Or Tua starts. Give it to me.
If Tua starts, I think Dolphins will win 24-13. If Teddy starts, I think it's the Jets 16, Dolphins 13.
Okay, I'll take the Jets one. Let's go. All right. Whew. All right. Listen, that was a hot show. I'm going to give you my final score prediction because I don't duck the score prediction. I'm going to take the Jets at this point to win this football game. They're still playing for pride. I'm going to take the Jets to beat the Dolphins 17-10. I'm taking the Jets. Listen, I got to get out of here. This was a hot one, okay? Woo, this was a hot one, all right? We're going to go ahead and close out the show. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right, I really do. All right, your boy's also on Twitter as well, at YoungJ000, at YoungJ0000. That's the personal page. At The Long Beach Joe is the show's page. Go on over there, all right? Follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. He'll be back. You know what I'm saying? All right, your boy's also on YouTube as well. Going over to YouTube, search Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right, go on over there, subscribe, hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Click that all on the notification bell, all right? And as always, people, when you see me in person, all right, when you see me in person, okay, because you will see me in person, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for taking the time out of your day to listen, call in, and interact with your boy any way that you can about the show. You folks are the absolute best. All right? Without you people, I am nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to check in with your boy. So you folks have a good one. Peace.